Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and today I thought I would go ahead and talk about something going on out there in the lifting and fitness community that I came across. It just came through my news feed yesterday, and I'm like, I want to talk about this. And it's because of prominent figure like Arnold Schwarzenegger, who, for many people out there, they consider him to be the GOAT in bodybuilding. And I do talk about these things, and of course, you guys know I'm not really a bodybuilding fan, not big on it, not something I'm interested in, at least the current bodybuilding. I will admit though, back, golden era bodybuilding, I have a lot more respect for it, right? Because most of them really were strong. Most of them did, care to some extent about their health, and it wasn't just chasing size at any cost, because, and realistically, they even looked good. And I mean, I'm not even that into that. I don't care that much about that. But, modern bodybuilding just looks grotesque. And it's turned into a death cult, on top of it. And I think that's the biggest take home here. And I've talked about that quite a bit. These guys are dropping like flies. And, then you have Arnold, over here mentioning this. And then the thing was titled, the thing that caught my attention is that he said that, well, these guys are lifting weights today that the human body was never meant to lift. Now, for me as a power lifter, I find that comical. Now, granted, I'm a master's power lifter, so I don't put up the biggest numbers in the world. I think what you guys just saw me do for training lifts right there, was a 350 pause bench, a good 505 squat, and a 625 deadlift. I'm also turned 46 tomorrow. So, context there. But I do find that part amusing because realistically, I don't think that that's the problem. I really don't. People will say, well, guys like Ronnie Coleman, because of the weights they lifted, or Dorian Yates and stuff. But he might have a point, when we're talking about Ronnie Coleman. But someone like Dorian Yates, it was just the style of training that he used promotes overuse, all these past failure sets. Now granted, he was moving some pretty big weights, and I don't think we can deny that with someone like Dorian. The guy was known for doing like sets of 8 with 405 on a barbell row. Right now, that's pretty damn impressive. I mean, even most power lifters are going to look at that and go, okay, that's crazy. That's crazy. Plenty of 700-pound deadlifters can't do that, and we're using, a lot of similar muscles. So, he did put up some pretty big weights. The people will point that out with Ronnie Coleman, but it's like, I don't know that, the heavy benches and deadlifts are what really hurt Ronnie. And the crazy thing is that he's still alive, so context. I think it was all the crazy cheat rows and just the loose form, not being tight in general while moving enormous amounts of weight. Now, granted, without abusing copious amounts of drugs, would he have moved those weights? Probably not. Well, let's just not say probably. You wouldn't have. But again, put in context there that if Ronnie Coleman was being honest, assuming he's being honest, and granted the guy was monstrously strong, so maybe I'll take him at his word. Let's assume he's being honest. I think that's fair. He said he was squatting and deadlifting like 700 pounds before he ever touched drugs. All right. Holy shit. Now to me, that's crazy. Drug-free guys moving that sort of weight. Yeah, I mean, that's ludicrous. But the point is, assuming he's being honest there, he wasn't getting hurt back then lifting those sort of weights. He wasn't reporting injuries. He wasn't using drugs. So then you have to go, how much weight is the human body, meant to lift? Well, 700 pounds in the case of Ronnie Coleman. All right then. And those are good numbers to use. No power lifter or strength athlete is going to scoff at that. A guy comes over and squats and deadlifts 700 pounds, whether he's on gear or not, like that is strong. That is crazy strong. Okay, and I think any power lifter on earth is going to respect that. Doesn't matter what he weighed, doesn't matter if he's using gear or not. And he's claiming that's what he was doing before the drugs, and then he's doing, 800 on drugs. All right? Not unfeasible. Again, particularly given the guy's genetics. But we come back over to all the really loose form. I think that's the big factor. And I think really that was a side note that Arnold made there. I think it was really a side note. It got put into the headline, and that's what got my attention. But the reality is, and he's right. He's right. It's like Lee Haney said that he was out of bodybuilding after he won that last Olympia. He's like, I'm done. It's about to turn into chemical warfare. And it did. And you have to look at the way these guys are all dying. It's the amount of drugs. It's not because the people before weren't abusing drugs. I mean, does anyone out there really think Arnold and Franco and all these guys weren't using abuse amounts of anabolics? Of course they were. Of course they were. Did it have as much of the same negative health effects? Now people could say, well, Arnold had some heart issues and other stuff, but he look at the age involved and then compare that to the average American. I mean, let's be realistic here. Average American diet is going to kill you faster than what they were doing. I mean, statistically, it seems to be true. It's going to kill you way faster. What people don't understand is today what some of these guys are using is not even in the same ballpark. They're not just abusing. They're using entire massive cocktails of drugs, sometimes 6 or 7 different drugs at doses that have never been tested in a human being concurrently, some of them using drugs that have never been tested in human beings. It's not just, hey, I'm using a bunch of anabolics. They're using extreme amounts of growth hormone, insulin, IGF-1. And I think the insulin and IGF-1 at the high doses is really what's causing a lot of the issues. I think it's the heavy use of aromatase inhibitors with just the ridiculous androgen load. Okay, that's what's causing issues. Diuretics, the extreme size. Let's set back the whole point about lifting weight. Let's talk about weighing weight. When you have guys who are 5'7", who are 300 pounds in their off season, walking around at that weight, come on. All right, that's insane. All right, that's insane. That is shaving decades off of their lives. Okay, there's a better one. They're hitting body weight that the human body was never intended to be. All right, 300 pounds if you're 6'4", 6'5", all right. But these guys are all short. If you've ever met pro bodybuilders, they're all below average height. Get in a room with any of them. They're all like 5'6", 5'7", even the ones who claim they're 5'9", 5'10". That's really what they are. Okay, walking around at 300 pounds while abusing extremely high doses of drugs, sometimes experimental drugs, abusing drugs at 10, 50, and sometimes 100 times the amounts that are used in humans normally, and a whole cocktail of them, right? Yeah, Arnold's right. It's crazy. It's turned into a death cult. That's why these guys are all dying. It's unfortunate, and I don't know what to do about it other than people need to quit making it popular. Quit following it. Quit being a fan of it until it cleans it up a bit. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.